Hey, but can I just say, Ted, your hair's doing some really crazy stuff.
Yeah, maybe I should fix
Can you
that
see it,
up.
guys? It's kind of, it's like it's bouncing.
Hold on. I'll just see if I can turn
Maybe
the
you're
light
using,
off.
I think it might be the conditioner you're using.
Oh, they're talking.
Oh, look there,
They're talking
Ted,
about
this
your
would be,
hair. No, they're talking about his hair
they're
because it's like
Oh, I was
The-
so
the
confused
background?
which Ted you're talking
I'm like-
about.
I can turn that
Yeah.
off. I can turn the background off.
no, it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, first thing I might do is just acknowledge our generous sponsors, as always. Brett Stammers from Rare Surf T-shirts, and Holly and Sue at Looking Smart that look after us with a lot of our clothing, and this is where we get all our jackets and T-shirts and things printed as well. So thank you to our sponsors, and I'd like to introduce Bea and Ted Conroy, some younger members of our club, and I don't think I've really spoken to either of you really much before. I've certainly I've seen you surfing, and Bea, I've seen you surfing, ripping quite a lot actually. So really nice to have you on board. And these interviews we've been doing this will be interview number 8, I think. We've been doing it. We started doing these through lockdown just to try and keep a bit of a connection with everybody in the club, and know that we're all still here, even though people are surfing more than ever, especially Ted. So here we are, and it's really informal, as Ted said. We just have a pretty open conversation, and we like for other members of the club to know about you two, and just things like how long you've been surfing and where you surf, that sort of thing, without giving away secret spots, of course. So maybe that's a good question to start with either one of you. Can you just tell us how long you've been surfing and maybe where you started surfing?
Me? I started surfing when I was about 4 or 5, like non-competitively, and I sort of just started Point Lonsdale, just at the front beach and like the back beach, and it was tiny, with like a couple of my friends in Point Lonsdale, and then we I sort of started to get into shortboard competing when I was about 8 or 9. So yeah, that's when I sort of started shortboarding, and then just took off from there for me. And then Ted was
I was probably about 3 or 4 when I started, and I was just trying to I like had some family friends like that we'd always go down to the beach with, and I always want to surf with my sisters. So yeah, it just kind of went on from there, and we just surfed and got into shortboarding competitions at a similar age.
yeah. So we
Well,
sort
I
of
think
just went around with that.
putting us to shame. Competing at such a young age. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I think at 3 or 4, I was still struggling to figure out how to stand up. That's great. So are you both born and bred Point Lonsdale?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Wonderful.
yeah, pretty much.
Our parents were from Melbourne originally, but
And then they came to Point Lonsdale when we were babies.
Mm-hmm.
Did either of your parents surf?
Our parents surf, but they sort of just took it up with us, so they don't like to take it too seriously. But they're really happy that we're longboarders now, because they wanted us to be like a longboarding family and just all go longboarding together. So yeah, we all enjoy it.
Oh, that's interesting. And I guess it opens up a lot more spots that you can surf as well as a family if you're going away.
Yeah, and it's
More
good having
secrets.
parents that, they're interested in the sort of the surf and like where it's good to go, so they're willing to take us wherever it's good. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
So I'm quite interested when you say that they were happy that you took up longboarding. What was the decision for you, Bea? I mean, that transition from shortboarding to longboarding must have been pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, I always did go long. I always enjoyed a bit of everything when I was a shortboarder. So whenever it was tiny, I wouldn't bother with all the other kids just taking my tiny little shortboard out. I would always just go take the right board for the right conditions. And then when I went to Timbertop, just because I got really sick of the shortboard comps. Like, it was just too competitive, and it was just sort of taking away from the enjoyment of surfing for me. So I went to Timbertop in year 9 and was at boarding school for a bit. And then whenever I'd come home, I would pick up the longboard, just go out for a few waves. And then when I came home, I just started longboarding more and more and just realized that it was just so, like, I just loved it so much. And it was always so much fun in any sort of conditions.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Ted?
Oh, well, I was really into the competitive like shortboard scene as well, and we were loving our shortboarding. And then I think I just saw my sister doing this, like my older sister doing this, and I'm like kind of like wanted to try it. And when I really started was when she went to the national longboard champions, like the Aussie champs, and it was just like I got to see all these amazing longboarders and I'd like never really seen it before, and I was just amazed by how like nice it looks and how in not just to do, but how enjoying, like it gives a lot of joy just to even watch.
Yeah, and we like also think that like when you go to a longboard comp and you see all those amazing longboarders, every single longboarder has got their own style and everybody surfs differently, but there just wasn't the variation at like the shortboard comps. Like it felt like I was just replicating the same turns on and on, but I just feel like longboarding is just like so much more expressive.
I feel like
unique.
Me and Bea with longboarding, we just really enjoy it. Like it's not shortboarding's better than longboarding. It's just we just much love to do it, and it's really good around here because a lot of the waves are small.
Yeah,
and not very big. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen the junior shortboarders. They're fierce.
Yeah, they
are. Compared with our competitions. And maybe, I mean, my view is too with longboarding, I mean, we get to see the entire wave ridden.
Yeah.
Whereas shortboarding, it's just, just looking for sections and closes out and they're out of there.
Yeah, and a lot less choosing like in a longboard comp, they won't run it if it's horrible surf, but in shortboard comp, you'd have to go out in horrible surf, and it just wasn't expressing how good you really were, I don't think.
Mm. And how did you go in the national titles?
For longboarding?
Yeah.
The longboard ones? Oh, I came 4th in the under 18 for the longboard. That was the HP one, high performance, and then I came 2nd in the logger to Charlotte Lethbridge, who came 1st. So
that's fantastic. That's a big name too.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah, I wanted to beat her, but I didn't quite get there. Thank you.
Yeah. Look, Victorians seem to fare really well, as you know, people in the club who've done so well over the years at the national level. I think it puts our club as one of the best clubs in Australia, at least.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Definitely.
And are you in any other board clubs at all?
Not really. I sort of I've always done a bit of Point Lonsdale board riders, but it's sort of more shortboarding, and I just sort of shortboard when I'm free surfing these days. So I'm sort of only at the moment really doing like Surfcoast and then just the state titles.
Yeah. Fantastic. Ted, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
I'm really interested in the fact that you were watching different people surfing longboard in particular. I don't really care whether it is actually longboard or shortboard that you talk about, but are there people you really like watching, either surf a longboard or a shortboard, either locally or internationally or Australia-wide? Can you think of anyone you really like watching?
Yeah,
Ted has a lot of them.
I have, in particular, Alex Noss. He's a Californian surfer who I think he's like, he like shapes his own boards, rides what's like suits the conditions, and he's just like, even if it's a shortboard or a 20 or a bonza, whatever he's surfing, it's just amazing to watch him. Like he's good on anything, and he's just a naturally like good surfer, and he just has like a crazy, energetic, cool style.
Great.
Yeah, and then
I agree.
And I also love watching Ben Considine surf.
Yeah, he's a good local one, and even just going down over to Posso's and when it's like good surf, it's
Yeah.
like amazing to just watch everyone out there. That's where I watch, I think.
Hey, guys, you just blew another secret spot.
We hold that comp set.
Yeah, yeah. I love to watch Ben surfing too. It's just quite inspiring. How you know, I mean, it just beautiful style, and style is something that really does show in good longboarding. Alex Nost, I know Ben is very keen on his style of surfing as well. So, tell me about your boards. What are you riding at the moment?
Well, I'm riding a 9-1 Nova Stella shaped by Ian Chisholm. And it was my first ever custom board actually, and it was a custom he made for me. And I did want a log, but I'm pretty light and it wasn't really going to work for me to have a full 9.4 big log. So he kind of scaled it down a bit and made, at the time, I got it in 2020 in lockdown. It was one of his newest models. And as soon as I hop onto it, I really enjoyed it.
Great.
Yeah.
Single fin, obviously.
Yeah, single fin.
Single fin, yeah.
Yeah, and you've also got your fish
Yeah,
that you ride.
and I have a few short boards.
Yeah, no shortage of boards for him. But yeah, no, I'm the same. So I had an Aussie slasher that I've had for a couple of years now that I got from Ian Chisholm. That was my first like nice longboard. Yeah, that was my first longboard log. I did have like a old one from 40
when she got her log, I started surfing that, which was a high performance longboard.
Yeah, so I had an Aussie slasher and I've had that for a few years now and I love it. Shaped by Chizza, and then recently I got Nova Stella. I just upsized from Ted's because I just rode Ted's all the time. Yeah, so I got a 9.4 of Ted's board.
She tried my board once and she just couldn't stop surfing it because she loved it as much as I did.
I never let him ride it.
That's
so I'd have to go. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I've seen those slashes look fantastic. I love to ride one.
Yeah, they're really good.
And how do you find the transition between logging and high performance?
High performance longboarding, do you mean?
Yeah.
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 I feel like for me, like the log is obviously a bit harder to turn, but it's just being able to like adapt to the big, like, and it feels, when you're surfing a log, you can feel like a certain feel of like flow. It flows with the wave and doesn't just like, it just flows with the wave really well and just glides along the wave. And I feel like it's hard to explain when you're riding in high performance, like you have to do a lot of the work, whereas like it kind of feels like you and the board are kind of working together in a way. It's hard to explain, but
that's a good description. That was really well put.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of the same. I really like the way that the rails sort of like, you can sort of get that sweet spot on the rail when you're turning that you can't, like, I don't know what it is, but it's just, I find that the logs are just so nice for carving, like when you get on the tail and you can just whip it really easily. And I really like that. And it's like, it will just ride so well standing from any part in the board. Like you can be on the tail, you can be in the middle, or you can be on the nose, and it's just so, like, the speed that you get is so much fun.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I love about longboarding is how you can use all of the board, not just put your back foot on the tail and your front foot somewhere. Like you can be in the middle of the board, the back of the board, and the nose of the board. Like just so much like creativity and stuff. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Ted, maybe we need to get some coaching.
I think, well, you know, like Ted and I actually did get some coaching off Ben. And
we did. And Bea.
And Bea, yeah. And
I'm talking about getting coaching from these two.
True.
I'm sure Ted will do that for you.
I think that they do. You have described it very well, the kind of a notion of actually going with the flow of the wave and just using the whole board. I think that's excellent. What I must admit, I really do like both of your methods of getting to the nose. And I was very kind of impressed. I love photographing you both, actually, like walking straight up onto the nose. Is that something that you were trying to do when you were very, first starting surfing, or how long did it take you to do that?
Well, it did take a while for me, but I have an advantage when it comes to nose riding because
Yeah, he's very light.
I'm light, and it kind of, when you're learning, it gives you a bit of freedom. It's in, like, I obviously, if I'm doing it in like the flat part of the wave, I'm still gonna nosedive, but it gives you a bit more.
You'd be surprised to see when Ted's on the nose and he's on the tiny fat little wave and he's still on the nose. And it's just like, how? But no, it didn't come as naturally for me as it did for Ted, I wouldn't say. It took me a while to.
Took her a while, but I feel like we both had a big whenever we have been to Noosa.
Yeah, but every time we go to Noosa,
we'd surf 6 hours and then another 6 hours in the afternoon. And
that's a bit of an exaggeration.
Well, no, I don't know. Anyway, we'd surf a lot, and in like 3 days there, our surfing would be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, especially for nose riding, because the wave just like peels and just it's
also
so
about getting on the right waves, I think, with nose riding. And
I feel like there it has all the waves are pretty much right.
Yeah.
And it's just like good practice. Good. And I feel like for me, I obviously, like, it took a bit to get hang of the cross stepping, but after a few months, I was like starting to find myself being able to get up onto the nose.
Yeah.
You just mentioned
perfect spot to do it. Well, I mean, there's another secret spot gone, but anyway, it's a great wave. It's
I was going to get
I've been lucky enough to have it probably twice when it was really pumping, but it's pretty amazing.
I was going to get them to explain whereabouts in Noosa, just to make it really explicit.
Oh, well, our first time there, like actually longboarding, it was actually, we had a big swell.
Yeah.
And all the points were very good. But and the most recent time we've been was for the Noosa Festival of Surfing earlier last year. And
it's tiny. So
it was small. And actually on the first day we were surfing like one of the middle points, I think near the boiling pot. What they call it?
Is it first point?
No, that.
Oh no.
No.
That's the first one, isn't it?
Huh? No, so there's the first one is first point, and then there's
Little Cove,
and then there's the boiling pot and like that point, and then there's Tea Tree, and then there's like Dolphin Bay or whatever.
Yeah, what a great spot. And a lot of very good longboarders who come from there too.
It's good to watch there.
Well, this is a good lead into my next question. What's your favourite type of wave? Like a point or a reef or a beach break?
I really like, my favourite wave in the world would have to be Noosa that I've been to. Because just the way it's like a point break and the waves aren't particularly big, and it's just like you can be creative and you can have really long rides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ted likes smaller waves, but I love point breaks, I would say, but my favourite's definitely when point breaks are a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Because even on the longboard you can sort of be safe on the edge, but then still catch the bigger waves, which is my favourite personally.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a bit of a relative scale going on here. How much taller are you to Ted?
We're both pretty short.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm like 5'2", 5.
I don't even know. I think I'm like 5'4", 5'5", maybe.
Yeah.
That's pretty close.
She'd probably be about that much taller.
He'll overtake me very soon.
I like that much taller.
Yeah, no, he's going to overtake me, definitely.
Have you surfed overseas at all? If so, where?
Well, we have been to Hawaii before.
Yeah, we've been to Hawaii a couple of times. I really like surfing Kauai there, on the North Shore and also on the South Shore. My when I shortboarded Poipu, a place called Poipu a lot. And then I would longboard on the North Shore, which was really fun.
Kauai.
Yeah.
I mean, Waikiki, sorry.
Yeah. And then, that's Oahu. And then we also, when we were younger, we went to America for 6 months. So we traveled around there. And we surfed Costa Rica. Where else? We went to Trestles.
We went to
Santa
we
Cruz.
we used to surf Santa Cruz a lot.
Yeah, so we went to school for a bit in America for a couple of months when we were younger in primary school, and we lived just outside of San Francisco. So every weekend we'd go and surf
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Mavericks? No.
Oh, there was never any waves at Mavericks in the time because we were there for a few, maybe 6 months. Yeah, unfortunately there was no waves when we were there, but we did go check it out a couple of times.
Yeah, we did go check it out.
Oh, you're very well travelled. I mean, to surf trestles too, that must have been pretty incredible. Was it crowded?
Yeah, it was, but it was, because I was there when I think I was about 12 or, 11.
I was 6, so you
yeah.
would have been 10.
I would have been 11 or 10, yeah. And when I was shortboarding there, like it was busy, but it was really like the locals were all really, really friendly, like surprisingly compared to other places I've been. And all the Californians were like so nice, especially to Australians.
How do we compare?
Well, I feel like the special thing about surfing in California is they hear your Aussie accent and then they'd just be so interested, and then they just come up and talk to you about where you'd surfing in Australia. And so I think it was a bit of a novelty having Aussie accents around all the time, except it's not that I would say of all the places we went in America, California is the most similar to Australians, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you were talking about Australia and America and being similar, is the crowd situation sort of similar in Noosa to, say, California, or?
Depends where you are.
Yeah, it sort of depends. Like, a place where we would always go was San Onofre, which is a longboard break near Trestles, and it was always very busy, and like a lot of really good longboarders, but it didn't have that. It wasn't as hard to catch waves like you are when you're in Noosa. Like I find in Noosa everyone's really quite competitive in the water.
Because it is like there's not really there's one real peak and the kind of the waves come in like that, whereas on in the breaks we used to surf in California, it would be more like peaks everywhere, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. And at Point Lonsdale, what's the crowd situation at Point Lonsdale?
Well, in summer it gets pretty
horrible in summer. I try and avoid Front Beach in summer because I'll probably just slash some kid with my fin accidentally. So but during like at the moment, this time of year, it's pretty quiet. Like it just gets pretty busy on long weekends and public holidays, but like the local crowds, everyone's really like nice and shares the waves. It's pretty good.
Like we know all the local people that really surf around here.
Yeah.
And it's good knowing everybody and having a chat to everybody when you're out in the water.
Yeah. They don't share the waves as much if you're not a local, I don't think.
Bit of localism.
Yeah.
Not like here.
Yeah.
What is there anything that actually scares you? Like big waves, sharks? Is it?
Well,
what would you say?
There's always like sharks. Like it's a bit scary, but you're really unlikely if you're gonna get bit by one, and you can't really do anything really. But big waves is just.
I was always really scared of big waves when I was younger
because of a one time.
Yeah, because I went in this Point Lonsdale board riders comp when I was younger, and they took us. I was in the under 12s division or something crazy, and we went out in really big waves, and I was just traumatized. I was like, I'm never going out to Back Beach again. Like I'm so scared. And then it was Wes Bowler from Point Lonsdale. He like helped me and like took me out in big waves and like taught me like how to sort of handle myself. So then I came to love it in the end. But I was always really scared of big waves.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest surf you've been in?
I reckon it was the state titles when I was, the year that I won the state titles was probably the biggest surf. It was at Woolamai,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about 8 to 9 foot out the back, and it was
Wow.
really scary. But yeah, it was a very dangerous day, but managed to find the right ones in the middle of the rip and then catch the two waves that won me the state title.
This was on the longboard?
This was on a shortboard.
On a shortboard, okay, right.
Yeah, so I was very lucky. I don't think if it was that big, I don't think I would have won because I was just lucky to find the right waves, but it was very big that day.
Yeah. Willamette can be pretty shifty too. It's
yeah, and
How
it
about
just
you, Ted?
changed so much.
Oh.
that heat.
Well, I don't really surf big waves because being small, I've not scared, but I've just kind of avoided them, and I felt like because I'm small, I can have more fun than most people in the smaller waves. But the biggest I've probably surfed in is probably only 6 foot.
Yeah, still pretty big though.
Yeah, no, but
yeah,
nothing like 11 or anything.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
probably 6 to 7.
That is pretty big. Wow. Okay. Ted, have you got anything you'd like to ask?
Well, just on that, I mean, I'm very interested in if you're surfing your favorite kind of point break. I mean, I'm not saying Noosa, but just wherever. It doesn't have to be the Noosa, but what size would be the perfect size for you, you reckon? I don't want you to sort of exaggerate and say you always like surfing really big, but if you do, say that. I mean, that'd be good if you do like it.
I feel like mine for longboarding,
2 to 3, don't you?
yeah, 3
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, I'd say for longboarding, I like 3 to 4. It's probably my favorite. I like Bea some days, but just mostly I'd say 3 to 4 foot.
And at that size, would you do more logging or more performance?
I'd definitely do more logging. I take my log out in all conditions. So
Well, when it gets above 4 foot, I usually take my a shortboard or a fish or
and
something
same
like
with me. I'll take my high performance out. If it's anything bigger than 4 foot, I won't take my log.
So here's a question for both of you. What maneuver or what skill would you best like to, what do you really want to improve in your surfing? If there's one particular maneuver or trick or whatever it might be.
I would like to work on my turning because with my big log, I find it hard sometimes, but I feel like I'm improving on that and learning how to turn it better.
Yeah. And for me, I'm trying to get the drop knee at the moment. It's taking a while. I'm slowly getting it a little bit, but I'd like to work on the drop knee. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to work on the drop knee too.
Yeah.
That's very stylish.
Yeah. No, I watch people like Lee Considine doing it, and
He is an amazing.
And I'm just like, wow, that would be so cool to do. So I'm trying to get it, but yeah, it looks a lot easier.
Somebody in the club that does a pretty incredible drop knee turns too. That's Laney, of course.
Yeah, he's really good.
Very stylish turns.
Mm.
It's an interesting question. We've asked a lot of people in the past, and it's varied from just nose riding to hanging heels, depending who we ask. And it's interesting to get everybody's take, because I think everybody wants to work on one thing. I would love to be able to drop knee turn. I think my knee would break. But I just love to watch. Particularly a couple of years ago, we had some coaching through the club with Harley Ingleby, and the following year we had Josh Constable. And the one thing that I watched both of those guys doing so effortlessly, actually doing full roundhouse cutbacks of a drop knee turn.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just poetry in motion.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, you
Yeah,
go.
keep going. Go, B.
Oh, I just remember Ben was trying to like show me how to do it, and he recommended to watch Ray Gleave as well, who does really nice.
Yeah, Ray Cleve is amazing surfer.
Mm.
That was actually going to be my question. I was going to say, if you
Oh.
were trying to do something, would you prefer to get a coach like Ben, or would you prefer to just watch someone and see if you could kind of get an idea by watching?
Well, a coach is probably the better way because
You don't. Yeah, you don't. I
you don't
think
need a
one.
coach, but like it's obviously probably going to help you like quicker. It's probably going to get you there quicker because when you kind of just doing what feels right in the first bit, but like maybe it's just a few mini things that add up just to make it like a lot different. If
But
you get what I mean.
yeah, I do find watching people longboard has really it. I feel like it because you can watch everyone who surfs differently. Like every single person that I've watched on a longboard has something unique about their style, and you can look at what works for them and just sort of try it out. And I find that really helps as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of a mix of both, I'd say.
Excellent. Do either of you do any other sports at all?
I play footy, girls footy, and
Do you?
I
Wow,
play.
great.
yeah.
I love my footy as well.
Yeah.
I play footy for local club and like school and stuff, and yeah, I also like to skateboard and snowboard and play a bit of tennis and stuff, like
Yeah.
a bit of everything really.
Yeah, my main sports are footy and surfing.
Teddy, I mean, I'm not saying this is going to help, but does footy help? But I wanted to ask Ted whether or not your fly fishing helps with your surfing.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I love to do. Well, I feel like they actually do have some similarities. Like they're kind of the shortboarding, which is kind of relates to the normal fishing, and then the longboarding. Well, that's controversial to say longboarding takes more skill, but it's just kind of like it's like they're both like quite traditional and unique, and it's like there's a lot more to it. I feel like in some ways.
Yeah. And a lot.
Ted,
lot
do
of
I
technique.
recall you talking about George Rice talking to Ted about fly fishing?
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times about probably.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You've got the same interest. That's great.
I'm just looking at the time here. Ted, what have we got left?
We've got 5 minutes, but I think we could finish because, I mean, it's better to make these short rather than keeping on going. Like I can edit this bit out, but
I've got another question yet.
go for it. Yeah.
I'd like to know what your goals are in surfing. What are your ambitions?
My goal is just to keep having fun, and because I don't push myself too much, because if I push myself too much, I won't be having fun, and just keep on having fun and surfing with like people I like to surf with, and like just keep on being stoked on it and just enjoying it.
Good on you.
I'm pretty much the same. I love surfing because it's just clears my mental state. Like it's just so like it just relieves any stress that I have. So I don't want to take it too seriously because it's just something that I love and like look forward to every day. So I reckon if I was to make it, I would love to do some more comps and stuff. Like I'd love to do the Aussies this year in the Open Women's. But just main thing, just enjoy it because that's why we started it in the first place, I think.
And school, like what level are you at with your study and things?
So I'm in year 12 this year.
Wow, big year.
Yeah, and Ted's in.
I'm in year 8.
Yeah,
Right.
so for me this year, surfing's really just to help me get through the year and just have my surf before I go back to study.
With my study, it's kind of pretty relaxed at this point still.
Very relaxed.
Just you wait, Ted.
Yeah. But it's just like kind of
minimal study for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, do you want to
Yeah,
wrap up?
in the short term, I could wrap up, but in the short term, just to sort of wind up, it's the last question maybe. What are you looking forward to just in the very near future? Are you looking forward to this autumn or this winter? Or you thinking something might happen? Well, I think we've got a few more comps
Live in
to
East
go.
as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you
Yeah, well,
looking-
I'm just looking forward to autumn because I don't like the summer winds in the afternoon. Makes it just go onshore. And the surf in autumn is amazing. So I'm excited for that.
I'm just hoping for some good surf days whenever.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
some good Passos days.
Mm.
Yeah. So we all, I think. That'd be great. It'd be fantastic. So thanks so much, guys. This has been a great interview. Been really good.
I think this is what been. I don't know. This feels like probably the best interview we've done.
I
Oh,
reckon.
really?
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, it's been
So-
great.
Really excellent. It's good to see you both, and it's good to see you so into surfing, and looking forward to seeing you out in the water and using the whole board, like you say. It's such a marvelous thing that you've worked out how to go with the flow and stuff like that. That sounds so good. So thanks so much. Do you want to wind it up and say goodbye and just mention our sponsors again? Ben?
Goodbye, and thank you to Rare Surf T-shirts, Brett Stammers, and Holly and Sue at Looking Smart. Go and do your homework. Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
Thank
See
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you.